Welcome back. Well, a year ago on this date, the 63rd governor of Maryland, Governor Wes Moore, had just celebrated a year on the job, his first year on the job. He went to bed that night not knowing what was lying ahead. 2:02 in the morning, he tells me. His chief of staff called him and said, "Governor, I have some bad news. The Key Bridge is gone." The governor says he was confused. He didn't believe that the iconic Baltimore Gateway literally was no more. And during an exclusive sit-down, he tells me that he struggled holding on to hope when he arrived on the scene, holding on to hope.
It was a morning that I'll never forget.
Did you think in the beginning that some of these men might have survived?
You know, I think the more details that we got, when I realized that the bridge is 180 feet over the water. At first we didn't know how many people. And I keep on thinking about those first responders who just saved countless lives by just closing off the bridge, and who moved without instructions but just thought this was the right thing to do. Let me just make sure that we're doing this. Because remember, after the bridge was gone, it was dark. Cars are driving 65 miles an hour, so cars just would have kept on coming without even realizing the bridge was gone. So, I remember praying that morning, praying for their safety, praying for the divers that we could save as many people as possible. But at that point, we still had no idea how many people that we were talking about, and just thinking about what it was like for those individuals to go 180 feet into cold, frigid, and dark waters with debris falling all around you, and just thanking God for those first responders who were there to do everything they could do to bring them back.
Thank the first responders, and imagine that nightmare. What a nightmare it would have been. You'll remember in the wake of that, the governor, very visible, coined the phrase, "Maryland tough, Baltimore strong," that we heard over and over again. And now, as we look back, we know why. The governor has participated in a number of ceremonies honoring those men who died, including one that was just yesterday. And also at that event was Baltimore City Mayor Brandon Scott. And for more on that ceremony, Nikki Zizasa has that for us. Nikki.
Well, Denise, Governor Moore and Mayor Scott hosted a special wreath-laying ceremony earlier this week. WJZ was a part of the small group of selected media invited to that ceremony. Both leaders said they just wanted to show the victims' families they're still there with them, standing with them on the boat, knowing the pain from that day a year ago, and can still feel it like it just happened yesterday. I spoke with Mayor Scott earlier tonight, and he told me these families will continue to be the main priority even as a new bridge is soon to be built.
6 people lost their lives. 6 families had their lives disrupted and changed forever. That is always going to be the largest takeaway from this, is that people who were working hard every day to make all of our lives better, including mine as someone who frequently went over the bridge, lost their life because of this tragedy. And so you never forget that. But when you look back at it now, a year out, you also think about how people came together. And I think the thing that I always take is that from those very moments on that shore, before the sun came up, everybody from the governor's team, my team, all the local governments, the federal government, from the President of the United States on down to the Coast Guard, everyone was working together as one.
The mayor says unity in the midst of tragedy is how these families and our communities will continue to heal.